So the new mode of special expedition, and I'm talking about the hard mode level 1, is quite difficult. However, I'm here to basically explain on various strategies on how you can pretty easily beat it even with the units that you currently have, because while you can beat it with a lot of more pay-to-win oriented units, like for example the Narian Ha is an amazing unit for this, I will also give you examples on how to beat it with a fully free-to-play team, meaning that no unobtainable net 5s, no unobtainable light and dark net 4s or net 5s, just making it easier. Of course, you can tune your team based on what you have, but I'll give you the bare bones explanation on, first of all, how the boss works, and second of all, the teams that I recommend. Okay, so the boss itself has a lot of abilities. As you can see here, she has a total of 16 abilities. I'll definitely not bore you with what they do. The main things you need to know about this boss is that it applies a lot of different debuffs, and on the top of my head, she will apply blind, silence, defense break. She will strip your buffs, bleed, poison, heal block, level 10 slowness, oblivion, and many more. And the main two skills you need to pay attention to is this one. So the relation, this is the main strategy behind the dungeon, is that any of your units cannot receive 5 or more harmful effects at once. If a unit is caught with 5 harmful effects at once on him, the boss will do this attack and she will basically cleanse all of the debuffs on her. She will do a lot of damage to your whole team, especially to the targets that have a lot of debuffs, and she will recover HP based on the damage. The recovery isn't too big from what I've experienced. It's like 15 to 20%, but it's still annoying and it can slow down runs a lot. And the second ability you need to know about is this one. It's called Revive. So once the boss falls below 20% HP, she will get 3 very annoying buffs. So first of all, it will be the soul protection one, meaning that when the boss dies, she can revive with 40% HP. She will also get immunity, meaning that you cannot debuff her unless that immunity is stripped. And she will also get level 1 evasion. This one is not too difficult to deal with, but still annoying when trying to land hits. So the main strategy behind this dungeon is first of all countering this, and second of all never having more than 5 debuffs on a single unit. So the best ways to counter that is, for the debuff part, you will either need a frontline unit who is built on high resistance, and if you're for example a cleave user, you may not have a high resistance build on your cleave, because I mean not many people really focus on resistant on their summoner. So another option there is to actually have a cleanser that can cleanse at least 1 or 2 debuffs occasionally. This prevents the debuffs from being stacked and potentially never having 5 or more of them on yourself. Now for the revive part, there are a few different ways to counter this. So by far the best one will be to actually have a beneficial effect block on the boss. And you only need to have it for when the boss is just slightly above 20% and all the way down to 0. Remember that when she passes the 20-second mark, or rather the 20% mark, even if the buff is removed at, let's say, when she's like 10%, she will still get buffs. So all the way from 20% down to 0, she needs to have that beneficial block on her, otherwise she will still get the annoying soul revive on her. The other 2 ways you can counter the skill is by either having a stripper, but in my opinion this is a bit less consistent, because if your team deals a lot of damage and the stripper is not able to get a strip in time, the run will take way longer and the boss will revive with 40%. Whenever she revives, she also gets a permanent attack buff that cannot be removed, and the run will take longer and potentially even fail. And the third way to counter it is by using a unit that can prevent revivals. So there are several units that can do that. I believe the Dark Amazon is one of them. If I'm not wrong, the Water Hell Lady is another. But you can simply check on which units can do that by going to the book. I think the Dark Amazon has one, so we can go to here. and a Death Denial. I'll believe it's this one. So yeah, the Dark Amazon, Water Hell Lady. I'm not sure how these two perform. Punk will be a bit situational in my opinion, but he does have decent debuffs, so maybe he's also a mage unit, so that could help because there's a requirement to have a mage unit in the game. So yeah, that's the basic strategy behind it. And now let's jump into the teams that I do recommend for it. So if you're looking for the ultimate free-to-play team, wait, it's not showing, right? It's not showing for you. There we go. If you're looking for the ultimate free-to-play team, this is what I had the most success with. So the main requirements are to have a fire knight monster, and the second one is to have a mage unit. For that, for the Fire Knight, I found that Colleen is by far the best free-to-play option as far as that goes. Also, another great option if you have her is the Fire Valkyrie, Vanessa, because she is able to attack buff, defense break, and even revive in cases where one of your units dies. So if you have her, make sure to use her. If not, Colleen will do just fine in my opinion. Another great unit for this, for the mage at least, is the Fire Pioneer Chivo. You can now get him for free from the monster story, and it feels like he was made available pretty much solely for the new region as well as this dungeon, because he just puts perfectly in there. He is a mage unit, which fulfills one of the requirements. He can strip with his third skill, and he can buff block with the second skill. I personally run him on a Soul Link slot and spam the Soul Link ability for the buff block. That way he's able to keep the buff block permanently and do not have to be worried about the buff block going off when the boss is below 20% HP. So yeah, amazing unit there. This team does do a bit lower on the damage side. This is why I built my Chivo on a Rage Blade set. He is not attack crit damage attack, I believe he is HP crit damage HP, but his skills actually scale with his max HP, so the damage you do from an HP build will actually be maybe even better than the one you would do with an attack crit damage attack. I haven't fine-tuned it yet, I just threw whatever HP crit damage HP runes I had and he worked just fine. And for the third unit, that one is the flexible one. If you feel like you have a lot of damage, I had some decent success by putting Helia there. That way she can actually just set up the defense break and the damage taken up with her third skill, allowing both her summoner and Chivo to nuke for a lot of damage. Remember that Colleen can also heal up a bit as well as provide the attack buff for that increased damage, so it's sort of a decent setup. Same with Vanessa, she can also provide attack buff and a defense break on her skills, so in those cases you may not even need a Helia there. If you want a safe team, I personally prefer Lolo. Unfortunately, Shushu doesn't work here because first of all, the immunity will get stripped pretty fast, and second of all, she does not cleanse any of the regular harmful effects. She only cleanses damage over time, and most of the effects will be the regular debuffs, so you will need a cleanser that can cleanse any debuff. So for that, I put Lolo in. I found that my cleave usually receives 5 debuffs eventually in a run, so Lolo really helps managing that. And yeah, that's pretty much the team that I've used. I personally prefer the Fire Cleave. However, if you're struggling with power, you can go for the Dark Element, as that will give you the bonus power in this dungeon, since the boss is Light Element. And yeah, while I showcase a few runs of the dungeon, I'll talk about the main things you will struggle in here. So first thing you need to know is this boss has a lot of attacks that do knockback. This means that your team will be split up a lot, and due to the typings of the team, they will be split out. As you know, the Colleen is a frontline unit, so she will stay right next to the boss. You will need a mage unit, so that guy will usually stay in the back, and as you can see already, the 2 units on the right are split up away from the Colleen. This means that Colleen's heal unfortunately will not reach them in most cases. As you can see, they split even more. And basically with this in mind, remember that if you use a lot of support units, be careful, and especially not support units, but units that give support but may not be support time, as this ties into my next point perfectly. If you're using a cleanser, make sure that cleanser is a support type unit. As you can see, the type of a unit can be shown here. The support types will have this little cross. The reason why this is important is because units like the warrior, is it the warrior or knight? I don't even remember. So for example, units like Colleen, when they use their healing abilities, they usually only target the unit with the lowest, for example, HP or whoever needs the buff. So as you can see there, she just went to my cleave and used the heal, did not reach the other two units. The great thing about support type units is they will actually move towards as many units as possible before buffing their support skills. So whenever Lulu's third skill will be up, especially if we will be split up, you will see that Lulu will move to a spot where she can reach everyone if possible. If not, she will at least try to reach as many units as possible. So the third skill is coming up and you will see that, okay, Lulu reached everyone from here, but let's try to see if she can do it on another one. It looks like right now units aren't too split up, so she is able to reach from that position. But in those cases where we are split up, for example, one member is here, another member is here, she will actually move to the middle and only pop her cleanse then, because she is able to reach as many people as possible. This does not only apply to Lolo, it also applies to different cleansers, healers. As long as they are a support type unit, they will have this better AI pathing in mind and will be able to cleanse it a bit more easy. So I'll see if I am able to find where she actually paths toward split up units, and make sure to put a clip here. There we go, just found one. So you can see Lulu's third skill is coming up and Colleen is quite split up away. You will see that Lulu now moves to the middle. That way she can reach all of the units in the fight and use a cleanse then. So this is the main reason why you use units of a support time, especially if you are needing them for heal or cleanse. And units like Colleen will unfortunately be not reliable if you rely them as a soul healer or as a soul attack buffer when you're using. Once again, you can see Lulu moves to the spot. She's standing right here in the back. There's no way she's reaching cleave or Chivo. She has her skill. She comes moving right here and she heals everyone. Well, you can see Colleen only tried to reach my cleave. So once Colleen has her heal, she moves a bit further. She heals there. She does not reach Punk. However, Lulu casually just moves to a spot where she can reach everyone and pops her heal then. So yeah, that's the main strategy behind the dungeon. And this is the main theme of how you can farm it with a free-to-play team. For more pay-to-win teams, of course, you can go with Vanessa. For the fire, is it Knight or Warrior? I always forget with this icon. I think it's Knight, right? For more pay-to-win options as far as damage dealer goes, you can go Cirgo. This was the cleanse in action. As you can see, my cleave received 5 debuffs right here. So that's 4, 5, and she instantly uses that heal. She did not, unfortunately, manage to get it in time because I killed her just at the right second. But yeah, that's pretty much how the dungeon works. And if you have any questions about it, I can try to answer them in the comments with at least the limited knowledge that I did. I did like 17 runs. Unfortunately, you cannot recharge entries for it, so I'm not able to test any further until next week. But you can also practice in the Path of Growth, except that the monster will be the Dark Element and it will have way higher power requirements. So yeah, hope you enjoyed. Sub if you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.